Chris, 3 years. It's a long road. I'm Alan. I'm an addict alcoholic.
Hey, Alan.
A lot of things I could say. Don't have enough time. Remember 2 years ago, first time I see Chris. I hadn't been to that Monday night Benton Avenue meeting in a while. So I walk up to the door. Here's this guy sitting by the door, smoking a cigarette, wearing those earrings, very similar style, and a fur coat. He's got his hat down like this. Kind of like peek at him, and he gives me this look like, dude, I will shank you. I remember for the longest time sitting at the meeting, he's way over in the corner by himself, feet up on the table, you know, just with this huge attitude. And I have no idea why, you know, somehow he was like kind of, you know, attracted to whatever I was saying, because, you know, he would come up and we'd kind of peck away at each other, you know, kind of got to know each other, and we spent some time together. This was about 2 years ago, first summer, and I don't know, maybe I've seen a little bit of me in Chris. You know, we all come in here and we don't want nobody to know nothing about what's going on inside of us. And, we got through some things that year, and you know, like all of us probably did. You know, our old ideas creep back in. We start doing the things we used to do, and all it takes sometimes is a combination of one wrong person, you know, to just egg you into things. And Chris kind of went his own way, and you know, he ended up in a really bad place. And I don't know, like I think the last year, this kid has gone through so much. You know, like I said before, it would have made me, you know, that bitter person that you know, he wanted to be perceived as when I first met him. And I don't know, the growth that I've seen in the last few months, you know, I'm not going to tell Chris's story. I'm going to let him tell you what he wants. So, but I didn't see him for a long time, you know, and then I seen him again. I come in here, and immediately he had that same look, you know, the first time I met him. And I said, oh God, you know, let's not go through that again. But something, you know, something happened. And, you know, what he's done in the last few months, you know, I look around this room at all the people that he's connected to. You know, he's like, the newcomers love him. You know, the people in the rehabs, and it's like, I swear to God, he's accomplished more in the last 4 months I have, and I've come to this bar for 30-some years. You know, and I couldn't be more prouder of him. You know, and I'm assuming that's your grandpa over there. Nice to finally get to meet you, sir. Heard a lot about you over the few. You know,
My pleasure.
And I don't know, I didn't take it out of the traffic. But I don't know. You know, you've done a lot for me. I couldn't be more prouder of a person. You know, and I'm sure that you keep doing what you're doing. You know, you've crossed that line where you realize that it's not all about you. You know, it's the feeling that you're getting from helping other people. You know, that's what this is about. I love you, man.
Thank you, Alan. I am Boston Chris, and I'm beyond thankful that I'm an addict and alcoholic. Just a little background. I just spent the past year upstate in prison, and you know what Alan had touched on about that dark road that I had gone down. it was because I wasn't listening to anybody in these rooms. I wasn't listening to drug court. Wasn't listening to probation, and thought that I had everything in the bag, and thought that if I wasn't breaking laws, then I wasn't doing anything wrong. Well, yeah, that caught up with me, and they ended up having like a little pile of violations and a bunch of little things, and somebody who I was really close to in the rooms ended up pressing charges on me, and that ended up sealing my fate upstate. And I remember talking to my mother on the phone when I was in county, and she kept just drilling into my head because I didn't understand what drug court wanted from me. I did everything that they asked me to do that I thought, and she was like, well, they're just trying to instill a little discipline in you. She's like, if they tell you not to eat goldfish on Friday, don't eat goldfish on Friday, and that stuck with me. When she said that, something clicked. Something clicked, like it clicked 3 years ago when I turned myself into the sheriff department. And then I got to experience Shock, which is a 6-month-long boot camp. They try to compare it to like Paris Island boot camp that the Marines go through, and that's a 90-day boot camp, and I got to go through 6 months of it. And that whole program is based on discipline and focus, and I'm duly diagnosed. I take different medications for what's going on up here because there's just a lot wrong with me. And when I went upstate, they told me I couldn't be on any psych meds, and immediately my heart sank. I figured, God, how am I going to make it through this program if I'm not on any of my meds? And by the grace of God, I made it by the skin of my teeth. I don't know how I did. I got in a lot of trouble up there. They've got a couple of different ways to punish you. The first couple of times you get in trouble, you have to wear like a yellow sash that says what you did wrong, like poor military bearing, or bad time management, respect, etc. Well, I ended up having quite a few of those sashes. I had to carry a log everywhere I went. At one point, one week, I had to carry a 30-pound boulder on my shoulder for a week. Everywhere we went, that boulder came with me, even it was, on a 3-mile run right at 5 o'clock in the morning before chow. That rock was on my shoulder, and, I had to do a lot of stupid things because I didn't want to listen, and I tried so hard. Every day I woke up and said, all right, I'm gonna do good today. It was like a mental relapse every single day in there, because I said to myself, right, I'm not going to do that again, and I ended up doing it again. And, I took everything I learned from there and combined it with everything that people had taught me and told me and suggested to me my first round of recovery, and just became Superman Recovery Man. And you know what, I can only be so thankful that I went upstate, because my last sponsor is sitting up in county right now trying to blow his ex-wife's house up, and just got slapped with a bunch of birds and a bunch of stuff that I would have been right next to him doing. Not necessarily committing the crimes, but guilty by association. And God had other plans for me. He was gonna drill it in my head that shit needed to get serious, and it definitely did. So coming home at the end of December, the first month was really hard. I was really nervous. I was traumatized from, being upstate, and I didn't know what to do with myself. And, I had a lot of resentments coming home because I found out, while I was upstate that my old sponsor scrapped and sold my truck and sold all my tools, and, everything that I owned was gone. So I had a lot of resentment for that. I had a lot of resentment from everybody in the rooms because they didn't keep in touch with me. Little did I know, half of them didn't even know where I was, and the other half, I was in their prayers. And when I walked through that Thursday night meeting, when I got home, boy, I was sick to my stomach, and then I just walked in, and everybody was so happy to see me, and the resentments and everything that I was holding on to just slipped away. And it's an amazing feeling to be able to come back to these rooms after something like that, and have the gratitude that I do have, because like Alan said, I got dealt a really shitty card. I shouldn't have gone upstate. I shouldn't have gotten violated for the things that I did get violated for. And the charges that were pressed on me were bullshit, and I had to pay for it, and that taught me a lot of humility. It told me to just suck it up and be a man and own up, because I've done plenty of dirt, so it caught up to me. And, you know, these past few months have just been really, really eye-opening. You know, I've put my hand out to anybody and everybody that's walked through that door. I have taken every single suggestion as it's an order from a DI up in Chalk, and, you know, it's worked. Like Alan said, these past 4 months, man, I have grown more than I have my whole life. And that's because of this program. That's because I started working this program the way it was supposed to be worked. You know, I started not being selfish and selfless. You know, I started caring more about what people, you know, I started caring more about people than myself. And, you know, sometimes it wears me thin because, you know, I got a couple of sponsees and I got a bunch of friends, you know, and a couple of them, you know, just keep running into that wall head first, and it's so frustrating because, you know, I have some of the answers because they were given to me, and I try to pass them on to them, and it just doesn't click. And it's funny because I can completely see, you know, Alan's frustration with me my first year, because I deal with it with one of my sponsees right now, you know, and I'm so thankful that he's in my life because it keeps it green for me. You know, it keeps me, you know, on my toes, because I was doing the exact same thing. So how can I get mad at him when I wasn't listening? You know, and just the gratitude I have for this program and everybody in these rooms, you know, is I can't even put it into words. You know, I think back to when I shared on my first year, and you know, I was swearing and I was just so cocky and arrogant, you know, and I look at, you know, the way that I share in the rooms today and right now, and, you know, I actually believe what I'm saying. You know, I can actually feel it and you know, actually help somebody. And that's just, it's a great feeling. It really is, you know, to see my grandfather here. I never thought in a million years I could get him to come to anything like this, you know, and I mean, that means the absolute world to me, because all I want from you and my mother is just that acceptance, you know, and, you know, that's been a really hard thing to deal with, you know, and we all deal with that. It's just that acceptance from people who aren't addicts and alcoholics, because they don't understand the mindset of an addict and alcoholic. And, you know, I've had a lot of resentment since I've been home because of it, but, you know, working this program the way I'm supposed to be, I've learned how to deal with those resentments and to realize that they're stupid. You know, I can't get mad, you know, because they don't understand, and they're allowed to have their opinions. I don't have to like it, and they're allowed to have it. And congratulations, Buck. I'm wicked proud of you, bud.
Thanks,
Where
bud.
you are. Always in the back. Congratulations, Vinny and Mr. Steven.
Over here.
There he is, hiding in the background. I'm so grateful, you know, I love everybody in here, and, you know, this is my family, you know, I had the option to go to Pennsylvania when I was upstate, and I turned it down, and I actually put in a transfer when I got home, and they approved it a couple of weeks ago, and this is what's keeping me here, right here, is everybody in these rooms, right here is what's keeping me here, because, you know, I'm doing a lot of good things for people in this town and surrounding towns, and, you know, I'm a warrior of God, and I'll be damned if I put my sword down anytime soon. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Thanks, Chris.
Should I be nervous?
So I'll take a moment of your time. Back in the day, when I look around, there's some guys, and then I'm not gonna say women, because they're always young. Guys that are up in my age, back in the day, we've done stuff. We had no support system. We bailed ourselves out. Some of us made it, some of us didn't, depend on what side of the road we wanted to drive on. Christopher, when he came home, I noticed a big, between your heart and a mental state was changed. You had a direction? Sure. A purpose? You listened? You did, and I'm basically pretty hard. When I want something done, I want something done. If you want something, you show me you earned it, then you get it, you appreciate it. And he knows he can have anything that I got, but he's gotta ask for it and he's gotta show respect for it. And that's part of growing as far as I'm concerned. The big thing, the point, I'm impressed with the mixture that's here. Very impressed, and I thank all of you for taking care of him. You brought him around, he had a place to go with his family. And I'll just leave with a minute of a thought for everybody. Think of a ladder up alongside a house. You're climbing up that ladder, you get about 3/4 of the way up there, you fall off it. And you notice how quick you get to the ground. Now you've got a choice. You're gonna stay there and cry about it, or you're gonna try to get back up the ladder. And how hard it is for you to go rung at a time to get to the top. But you can see the top. The top is there. It's always there. And it takes a while for you to get there. Certainly a lot longer and a lot harder than it is for you to fall off the ladder. You're on your way up. You've got a foundation. You've got a good crew here. I'm confident. And you're climbing one rung at a time. And I see every stage different. I see you doing something different. I see you doing something different. Things don't bother you. And you're much happier. And that's all God wants for you to do. But he wants you to get to the top. When you're on the top, you say, man, I